Good morning. It's Saturday the 27th of August. It's drizzling, probably because it's bank holiday weekend. That could be something to do with it. I'll warn you now, if you're not into trains or stations or railway stuff, you might find this video a bit boring, because it's about a signal box. So if you want to go up and watch Rick Van Man or Scudo Camper doing his thing, building his van or whatever, or Wiltshire Man camping in darkest Wiltshire, you might want to watch that instead. If you're going to stick with me, thanks. And basically, we're going to Banbury Station, where there's a signal box. Now it's an Edwardian signal box, not many of them left, built in 1901, and we're going to knock it down, like you do with our heritage stuff. So we're going for a bit of a tour round and a last look before they do that. So if you want to have a look round as well, come along. Perhaps the rain might even stop, you never know.
Fully for 2 weeks, didn't they? The whole line.
It was shut a while.
Really, yeah.
Here she is. That's the back of the old signal box.
Yeah.
Have a wander around. A few freight wagons there. And there it is, shortly to be knocked down. Just waiting to meet up with the others. Look, we've all got Network Rail jackets on. I feel like a Network Rail person now. Hope we don't get paid as well.
Padlock on the gate, 4 digits, no one knows the number.
I've got this set on wide, so I shouldn't miss anything. Oh, pigeon.
All right, the 17mm with the 17, 40 on 50. There's no idea, but never mind.
I should do.
Right.
I can ask everybody to group down this end. There'll be a short talk about the signal box, its operation, interrelationships with the railway, what we've talked already. So ask to participate and listen in that. for the little one, there are some toys.
Babylon signal box. Built in 1900 and served 116 years of faithful service. Closed on the 30th of July and is due to be demolished in 6 weeks' time on the 8th of October. Has anyone actually been in a signal box before or know how a signal box works? So you point me in the right direction when I go wrong then. I'll get my pointer. Banbury North's always been a single manned box. Probably in the 1950s or before, they would have what was known as a booking lad, who was a young chap who was aspiring to be a signalman, who would fill the booking for the signalman, answer the phones and keep him supplied with copious amounts of tea. After that, of course, they'd done away with them and the box became single manned. And that was a team of 3 signalmen doing 8-hour shifts over the 24-hour period. Monday to Saturday and a Sunday was a 12-hour shift, 2 signalmen doing a 12-hour shift each. Quite a busy box. In recent years, we were getting something like about 300 trains a day passing the box, about 120 on the morning and afternoon shift, and about 50 or so on the night shift, about 300 trains a day. The signalman had no breaks in that day. He was constantly on the go. Tea breaks, meal breaks, toilet breaks, cigarette breaks were taken when he got a few minutes. There was a way of knowing where the trains were. There was some IT equipment in the box just behind there. And these screens, one was a map which showed exactly where the trains were, and another was a list of the timetable which showed the next dozen or so trains that were going to pass the box. So he knew when he would have 10 minutes to either have a sit down or a cuppa and have a break. But apart from that, it was pretty much 8 hours on the go. So the area that Banbury North actually covered, this is the station. The area that the box covered was from the north of the station, down to this area here, known as Banbury Junction. It's about a mile north of where we are now. We estimated that probably about 60 years ago there were about a dozen or 14 manual signal boxes like this one, but obviously smaller, between Banbury and Leamington Spa, which is about 20 miles to the north. Gradually disappeared one by one. Banbury Junction box, which used to stand somewhere in this area, demolished in 1980, and then Banbury North took over the operation of Banbury Junction. So-called Banbury Junction because the Great Central Line used to branch off here, down towards Woodfalls, Rugby, and on towards the Midlands. 3 types of signal in operation. On the main lines you had the electrical powered colour lights. On the less important lines you had the arm, the old Appalachian arm type signal, which used to go up and down known as semaphores. And then at various points around the station you had the circular discs, known as dollies or dummies, whichever part of the country you came from, which were for shunting purposes purely. So the direction of travel on the railway is defined as either being up or down. Down direction was for trains going away. Don't demolish till the 8th of October.
Start now.
Down direction was for trains going away from London, so in this case towards Coventry, Leamington, Coventry, Birmingham. Up direction coming from Birmingham towards London. And that's further narrowed down by which type of down line or up line you're on. So if you're familiar with Banbury Station, you've got platform 1, which is the down relief line. That's for incoming trains, or mainly used for incoming trains from Chilterns or Oxford, which would come into platform 1, terminate, and then invariably go back out from the south end. Platform 2 is the down main, that was used for through Chilterns, cross countries and through freights, all the way through. Up main, cross countries, Chilterns and through freights coming in the up direction. And platform 4, that was platform 3. And platform 4 was the up bay at Banbury South, that's not shown on here, operated purely from the south end. We've also got the down goods loop, which was used for freight trains, and the up goods loop, That was used to shunt slow freight trains out of the way to let the more important and faster passenger trains go past. Then they'd rejoin the main line down at Banbury Junction and at Banbury South on the yacht goods. Points are either defined by facing or trailing. So a set of points in the direction of travel that can divert a train onto another line, such as these, would be facing points, and points that converge onto the line in the direction of travel, like these and those, are trailing points. Facing points have to be locked underneath the train to prevent movement, and I'll demonstrate that shortly. Each line's split up into different sections known as track circuits, coded green and brown on the down lines, blue and yellow on the up lines. The idea of that is several purposes. One, a signal can actually see where the train is. These are operated by a very low powered current in the line in the track, and when the train stands on the line concerned, the circuit is completed through the wheels and the axles, and these bulbs light up red. So a train comes into the down platform and those two will light up red. Then as the train moves along, each successive track circuit will light up and the preceding one will then go out. So it's always aware of where the train is as it moves along its area. They also assist in keeping colour light signals and semaphores, of course, of danger or red, and assist in the locking of points when a track circuit is occupied over a set of points. They can't be moved. Colour light signals, the electrically powered ones, had certain safety features associated with them. One is AWS, automatic warning system, and that's a system by where the driver can actually see what colour the signal is that he's approaching. About 200 yards on the approach to each colour light signal is a magnetic ramp situated between the rails. As the train passes over, it sends a current to the driving cab, and dependent on the colour of the signal, if it's green, the driver receives a bell indication. If you travel in the very front of trains, right behind the cab, sometimes you can hear it in operation. He receives a bell, and he'll just keep going normally. If he's required to stop at this signal, let's suppose this signal is showing a red light, he's alerted to that fact by the next signal in rear or preceding it about a mile back, showing a yellow light, and as he passes over the ramp, he then receives a horn, like a siren sound in the cab, which he has to cancel within 2 seconds. If he fails to do so, if he's distracted or incapacitated, and he receives the horn indication at a yellow signal, the brakes will apply, and he'll come to a stand regardless. There's also another safety feature, TPWS, Train Protection and Warning System, and that is like a small cattle grid type structure, again placed on the rails, on the sleepers between the rails, on the approach to and actually at signals, on the approach to and I think there's one just out here on the up main line. As the train approaches, if the signal is showing a yellow or a green, which are perceived aspects, the TPWS is inactive. If he approaches a red and he's coming too fast for the system to realise he's going to stop at it, the system sends a TPWS brake activation to the cab and the train will stop. If he's past the approach TPWS, and the signal reverts to danger, then as he passes over the TPWS at the signal, again that will stop him, it'll bring him to a stand very quickly, avoiding the possibility of derailment or collision. Major safety feature in the railways in the last 15 or 20 years. One reason why you don't seem to hear of accidents anymore. Touch wood. Another basic safety feature for signals is one of these. Any ideas, those who haven't never been in a signal box before?
Collar.
Right. Supposing you wanted to keep signal 51 red because you perhaps had people working on the track or animals on the track or trespassers or anything. 51 signals, you put that on the, and then of course you can't unlock it. The onus is on the signalman to put it there in the first place and take it off when it's no longer needed, but that's a very simple but basic feature brought to use 100 years ago, I think, with an accident in Scotland where a signalman shunted a train onto the other running light. Forgot to, well, didn't have collars in those days. Cleared the signals, there were no track circuits in the box concerned, and the train ran into it. And then another train on the down line ran into the wreckage. About 220 odd. Sorry? Quintin's Hill. 227 killed, I think, mostly.
Yeah, wasn't here though, was it?
Sorry?
Wasn't here.
No, back in Scotland, thankfully. I think it was about 227 soldiers killed during the First World War. So, coming down to the lever frame, tall levers are, looking down there. The tall levers are mechanically operated, the short ones are electrically operated. The red levers are signals, and they're mechanical signals, and they're attached to the signal by wires and pulleys. Tall black ones are points, facing points and trailing points. The blue ones are mechanical lock bars for the facing points. White ones, decommissioned, take the out of use. Where are we? Red and black are for signals on relief light or goods lights, excuse me. And the white band means that the signal has to be electrically released from the signal box. The box will demonstrate that shortly. Moving along. White and yellow, these should really be painted white because they're totally out of use. But the Croppedy, which stands somewhere up here at 3 miles to the north, number 48 and 52 signals, had a distance signal associated with them. So the yellow, it had a distance signal as a repeater signal. So you clear 48 signal, the signal would clear to a green aspect. And there was a signal called 48R, 48 repeater, and that would clear in rear of it to show the driver that it was 48, had a green light in it, just a repeater signal. Blue and brown are long direction release levers. So at Banbury, in the case if you wanted to get a train through the up main is in this direction. If you wanted to get a train through in the wrong direction, down direction over the up main, let's say, the signal at Banbury South would send the appropriate bell signal, then set the route correctly, which I haven't done, release the wrong direction slots, and then the train could come in the wrong direction through the up main and rejoin the down main over the crossover. These are detonator placer levers. Detonator shown on the diagram with the little 3 red dots there and there. Down bay, up bay. Shuttles pointed down for the down line. Excuse me. Shuttles pointed up for the up line, so if you needed to stop the train very quickly, you didn't have time to put the signal back to down, pull that over. The train would explode, the detonators would then be placed onto the railhead outside by pulling the lever. The train would pass over them, explode, and the train would stop. Detonators are small circular discs about that wide, and they strap onto the rail, known as fog signals in olden days. That's where to stop the train very quickly. You can't get the signals or telephone. Right. Any of this stuff on the shelf here that I don't explain, please ask later. I'll demonstrate how the signal boxes actually communicated with each other. That's by block bells, which are these things. One for the main, one on the relief, one on the goods loop, differently toned so a signal could tell which lever was which bell was which. So a train coming in the up direction towards Banbury would obviously need all the signals cleared. It approaches 51. There's no white band on 51, so we can clear it normally. 50 has a white band on it, so you need an electrical release from Banbury South before that can be cleared. It's actually locked. It's not at the moment, but it would actually be locked in the frame. So to get the electrical release, you have to contact Banbury South by block bell and block instrument. Banbury South has a bell in it, it also has block instruments in it. So the procedure, train is coming up, procedure is to send one beat on the bell to Banbury South, which is called a tension, or one beat on the happer and the tapper. Such. We've got this sort of gadget rigged up to simulate the signalman at Banbury South. So your answer boy will send you one back to you. And then, depending on the class of train, Class 1 train, Class 1 express passenger, is 4 beats on the bell. So you send him 4 consecutive. If he's in a position to accept the train to the station and to approach his box, if all his points are set correctly, nothing untoward is happening, he repeats the 4 back to you. At the same time, he turns the block handle in his box to that position. It replicates in here, and when the needle is pointing to the green line clear position, that there unlocks Cliffwood. Until he actually does that, that signal is locked. The train will then come into the station. As it passes the box, the signalman needs to be advised the train's entering the section or the station, and that's done by sending 2 beats, train entering section, to Banbury South. He answers, it's all done by repetition. Same time, he turns his handle to the train on line position, so both signalmen know the train is on the line, or the track circuits will be occupied there. As the train passes 51 and 50, the signalman will put them back, leave them back in the train. And as the needle is in the red train on line position, again 50 would be locked. Train moves away past the south box, clears the overlap, which is 200 yards past the first signal. That section of line has to be clear to prevent overruns. Signalman at Banbury South then sends 1 back to Banbury North, answered, back to Banbury South, and then train out of section 2, pause 1. You answer it back, and the signalman at Banbury South drops the block to normal. If there's another train coming, the same procedure goes all over again, 8 hours a day. How about that? So when you've travelled on a train in this sort of area, and you think, what goes on behind the scenes? That is what goes on behind the scenes. And at the end of the day, you're like, if the train, sorry.
That was it. That was the end of the tour. It's very good. And there's my phone ringing. So on that note, I'll put the video up. Watch as much as you like. I'll put the whole thing up, so I won't edit it. You can do that yourselves by fast forwarding and reversing. So there you go. Thanks for watching. Bye now.
Get a good view over here, see how he's firing. that the branch coming out?